Folks, I don't know what the hell's going on with Beyonce, but it seems like the older she gets, the less clothes she got on. I don't know if it is a midlife crisis or something is fundamentally wrong in the Carter household, right? But it's like the higher her age goes, the less that she's got on clothes. There's a direct correlation between those 2 points. If you go back to the teenage or the 20-some-year-old Beyonce, she had on jeans, maybe a crop top at most or something like that, right? Maybe Destiny's Child, they might have had one of them little outfits on, right? The Charlie's Angels type of outfit, something like that. But when you fast forward to the 40-plus-year-old Beyonce, she is unrecognizable. I mean, I'm not just talking about now she got platinum hair and she's lighter skinned all of a sudden and all, those things. There's probably a complex after her man's cheated on her with a Becky, and there's a lot going on there psychologically. But just when it comes to the lack of modesty, right? All of a sudden, basically looking as if she is one of these 19, 20-year-old hood rat chicks, right? A sexy red. Like, you would think that this was somebody competing with Sexy Red, not somebody who is in the same lane as an Adele. What are we doing here? Now, maybe I haven't caught up to the times. Maybe I'm off here as far as, maybe Beyonce's been doing this for the last 15, 10 years. But the one I remember from back in the day growing up was not the same as this one. But, I said all that kind of as a setup or as a foundation to get into this conversation with a young lady by the name of Chloe Bailey. Now, Chloe Bailey is an artist who was actually signed to Beyonce. She was signed directly under Beyonce, her and her sister, Haley, right? Haley Bailey and Chloe Bailey. And they were eccentric, to say the least. They were different. They had their own vibe. It was super dope. They were making original music, things that you hadn't seen, especially from young black girls. And it was a beautiful thing to see. Then all of a sudden, they grow up, and, like most groups, they end up taking their separate paths, though they're still sisters, right? I'm sure there wasn't much animosity or anything, but they just decided to have two careers. So one ends up, getting into Hollywood, and she gets the role as the Little Mermaid. I mean, what your opinion may be about that, you can reserve, and so will I for right now. But she went on and she, did the wholesome movie thing, ended up having a child, wanted to do the right thing and, truly have a man that she wished she could count on, etc. But I'm going to stay out the drama of that. But again, she had her path. But Chloe, on the other hand, was interesting to me because the first thing I heard from Chloe when she got out, before that horrendous song she dropped about, I'm going to cheat too. She literally made a song basically saying, if he cheats, I'm cheating too, or whatever. Before that horrendous thing, she came out saying that she was trying to channel her inner BADDIE. All right. She said, I like, it's not natural to me. So I have to kind of channel and bring this out of me. And I can't share the video because the Breakfast Club literally strikes everything. But she was on the Breakfast Club and she was talking about how, again, she wants to find that inner BADDIE. And to me, I said, that's interesting because, as you mature, as you grow, you would think to yourself that you actually want to mature and grow. But then I thought back to her mentor and said, well, Beyonce, one of the biggest stars in the world, did the exact opposite. Even Lady Gaga, you know what I mean? Gaga, out of all people, who was up there literally wearing meat outfits, right? Ended up maturing into a more sophisticated, less Gaga-ish type of look. And that's not to say that, you should take away from your creativity and those types of things and don't be weird and eccentric. I love those types of things. I love eccentricity. It is a part of the core of who I am. I'm a real life weirdo. But when it comes to, creating this image of sensuality and selling yourself, objectifying yourself, if we really want to get to the nitty gritty of it, Chloe is now stepping into her solo career and she looks to objectify herself even more so. And it wasn't just that interview and the words she said, but the action she took after. So she releases the song and it has terrible reception, even from people who are fans, because they're used to her putting out more wholesome messages. All of a sudden, she's talking about some I'm going to cheat too and whatever the hell that was on. Couldn't listen to the whole song. I'll be honest with you. It's one of those where you suffer through it. And I'm not the type who's finna suffer for anybody's behalf. Not too much, at least, right? I'll go through some things like watching a Whoopi Goldberg in The View or something for a little bit, but Once it gets to a certain level, I'm cool. But she had that, and then all of a sudden, she had a movie came out. I believe the movie was called Swamp, directed and written by Childish Gambino, right? And I think it's a show or a movie, one of the two. But basically, she is in a scene in that movie, fully nude, getting her cheeks clapped on screen. Cheeks out, everything out. Yeah. The same little Chloe and Haley Bailey, the same Chloe is all of a sudden creating this imagery of herself. And so to me, these sorts of things break my heart because I have seen the transition within my own life, and I have heard of and I've researched, how things were beforehand. Like there was a time when modesty was actually looked at as something to aspire towards. A young woman looked to be prudent in essence. And I'm not saying to be a prude as in, you don't have any level of sexuality. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there was something about reserving yourself for one who was deserving of self. There was a level of self-respect and dignity that was had. It was an insult if a man came up to you and said, damn, look at that ass. That was an insult to you as a woman. That dude would be liable to get slapped up. And it wouldn't just be because you have a man or whatever it is, but because that is disrespect. How dare you objectify me? And then we fast forward and the new wave of feminism, quote unquote feminism, it's anti-feminine feminism, is telling women to go out there and make themselves an object, make themselves less than a human by just being a piece of flesh in essence, right? Oh, I'm tired of being looked at as a piece of meat. But then you have the mentality of the Chloe Baileys, the mentality of even the Beyoncés. I know the Beehive ain't going to like this one. Y'all going to attack it just off the basis that it's not saying something positive about your God. But I'm going to tell it as it is. That's supposed to be an individual who is setting a precedent for themselves first and foremost and the rest of the world. The reason I'm not surprised by Kim Kardashian going back and doing, the basically naked shoots is because I expect that from somebody whose career is built off of that, right? What is her origin story? I'm surprised if she put some damn clothes on because her first moment or claim to fame, her first spotlighted moment was one where she was bucket-ass naked, okay? Buckets naked, as brother Bernie Mac said on what damn movie was that? She was fully in the nude, doing the do. That is how she got famous. So I'm not surprised. But a Beyonce, you're so talented, you're gifted. I was going to say smart, but that would be a stretch. But you are a worker bee, literally. You work your ass off. You have devoted yourself to your craft just to end up being this, to stoop that low. Again, if you are young, I understand that, sometimes these young girls are more susceptible. Like young men are very susceptible to ideas and they gravitate towards the likes of an Andrew Tate and thinking that that's manhood or the red pill. In the same way, young women may gravitate towards new wave feminism, the dark feminine and all that sort of stuff. And they think that that is something to aspire towards. They look at OF and think that that's something to do and to be, and then regret it later on. That's the natural thing for one of those individuals, is to regret it down the road, not to become even more of it as they get older. And so that had me realizing that we are really at a time in our society where this message of healthy shame, it needs to be hammered on. Like we need to quote unquote beat the dead horse, right? We need to continue to speak on these things because when you don't have a healthy sense of shame in anything, it's like, pre-Lyndon Baines Johnson, I'm getting a little political right now, but pre-Lyndon Baines Johnson, before the welfare state, etc., there was shame in the black community of being on welfare and being dependent on welfare. There was a sense of pride in the people. Even in the Democratic Jim Crow days, there was a sense of pride in the people to work, to do for self, to be self-sustainable, etc., right? And it's only when it got incentivized and normalized and even glorified to be in the welfare state or part of that welfare system that, black folks gravitated towards it. It's the very same thing when it comes to how we present ourselves. There was a time when being a thug, being, a gangster, degenerate, that was looked down upon. And your society, or at least your community, would ostracize you. They would make you an outsider. You weren't just about to get away with that. You weren't just about to be robbing grandmas or punching grandpa. You weren't about to be doing that. But there came a time when we made it okay. It became a part of pop culture to be a criminal. It became the in thing, in vogue, as they used to say. And so it's the very same thing when it comes to the lack of modesty. And that leads to much more detrimental things. It's not about wearing a damn loincloth around your whole body or something. That's not what I'm getting to. Because there are individuals who dress one way, but they are, they lack modesty in the way that they truly live. There are those who are secretly 304s, secretly, quote unquote, for the streets. They look real dressed up, nerdy type, whatever it may be, but they're really in them streets, right? And there are a few who, basically dress as if they were streetwalkers, but actually don't give it up like that. Like there's a chick, I guess she's one of the biggest OF people. Now, I'm not going to call it a model because you ain't no damn model. She's one of the biggest OF pros. And she, I guess, is allegedly a virgin, but yet she is one of the most, quote unquote, successful on that platform. That's real interesting. Oh, I'm a Christian and a virgin, she says, right? Not just a virgin, but a Christian on top of that. And so, as she's doing this, there's no problem with it because she is still keeping her she's still chasing. And to me, I say, what the hell are we talking about? How you present yourself and you put yourself out into the world does mean something. I even had to accept that, right? When I was stepping on here right out of bed with my damn tank top on and my do-rag on like it was nothing. I like to be comfortable. I like a casual wear. I like athleisure wear. You understand me? Sometimes I get dressed up depending on what it is that, me and Bae got going on. But otherwise, I want to be comfortable. But I also have to be cognizant that how I present myself is going to have an effect on the ones who engage with me and how they engage with me. I'm not saying that, we make excuses for dudes who are just ruled by their little head. I'm not talking about that. What I'm saying is to have enough self-respect. I mean, my God, 40 years old, whose attention are you trying to get? What haven't you gotten yet that you're trying to fulfill? You're trying to keep up with the young girls, with the Tylers of the world, etc., who are likely going to grow up if they do mature to say, damn, why was I throwing myself out there like a piece of meat just to be consumed? There's chicks who are in that quote unquote adult industry and they get to a place where all they have left is regret. Of course, you objectified yourself. The Chloe Baileys, I was so disappointed because she is a smart girl. She is seemingly intelligent. Maybe y'all know more than I do, but she seems as if she is somewhat there, right? She's able to process information. She's able to see the world around her and make assumptions to the point she is self-aware enough to know I'm not even really naturally this quote unquote bad bee, the whole bad bee aesthetic, etc. Right? She even knew that she was not that. And she had to put on the facade, the masquerade. It's like me. I knew I wasn't no thug, no gangster, none of that. But I had to kind of put on the image or felt that I needed to. Nobody made me. I chose. I was looking for validation. But when you jump into that with that mentality, you're looking for attention. And you're looking for the wrong attention. And the most ironic thing for me is this. The most ironic thing. The latest video I saw of this young lady was of her talking about how, she had basically been screwed over in a few relationships. She had been cheated on, etc. And she was talking about, if you're not serious, then don't even come my way, etc. Like, please don't even deal with me. You could tell she's a chick who wanted that relationship. She wanted something that was grounded, etc. But then she put out this image of herself, something she thought she likely had to be. And this isn't just a celebrity thing, a Chloe, Beyonce thing. I see a lot of women out there who have that mentality of, well, but if I don't dress this way, I don't do this, then I'm not going to get the attention. You walk into a gym, you would think you stepped into the booty club. Like, I mean, yeah, I know we're working out in here. We want as light clothes as possible, but damn, you just got a strip here and a strip down there and that's it. What are we doing? What's this about? It's obviously about attention. It's obviously about wanting to be seen. And again, there's no problem with getting attention. I am getting your attention right now, through this video. This is how we're interfacing. However, there's a difference between negative and positive attention. And depending on how you show up in the world is what you're going to get from the world. So for the likes of a Chloe Bailey, she is going to get the attention she desires on the surface, but her heart doesn't desire, because now she's up there damn near crying in the interview talking about, if you're going to be a cheater, you're going to do this, don't even. Well, guess what? Do you know who's going to come after you when you're all up out there? They seen the cheeks getting clapped in a film. They seen that on screen in public. What do you think they're going to see you as? Who do you think you are in their eyes besides a piece of that? That's who you attract. Oh, they ain't no good man. They ain't no good man who genuinely stands on what he stands on. A man of integrity, a man of value, man of morality, right? An honest man, a faithful man. That man is not going to look to that girl in that scene as his wife. A man who has self-respect is going to avoid that type of individual. And it breaks my heart when you have somebody as famous and prolific as a Beyonce, right? Because this is somebody who has a husband who was singing all the single ladies, put your hands up. All these pro-feminist anthems, but you're married. What's that? What's that about? What type of messaging is that? You have a whole entire family, have been married for upwards to 20 years, and you're talking about all the single ladies. I know it's music. I get it. You're trying to appeal to a certain audience. But when you put that into people's psyches, or when you're pushing that message, then that's what you stand for. I don't give a damn if everybody else writes your music. You're choosing the music to perform. And so it breaks my heart when those individuals are pushing those messages. Now she's up there, putting it all out in the world. These young girls follow along, and then now they're 30. Now they're coming to their 40s, and they're like, what the hell happened? Why was I never able to attract? Yeah, you were never able to attract that man because you didn't even know what man to look for. You were trained to look for a soldier. I need a soldier in here. Where they at? Where they at? That's what they trained you. Music is programming. Messaging, it's programming. Every single time you repeat that thing to yourself, it is becoming more ingrained as a part of your identity and your psyche. So when you're listening to that over and over and over, why do we got so much of a heartbreak culture? We grew up on heartbreak music. Why we got so much gangsterism? Drill music is the child of what rap music already was. That mentality was drilled into us where we thought, oh, this is something sweet to do. This is something nice to do. This is what we're about, right? We weren't listening to, music talking about let's stay together no matter the weather. You know what I mean? Can you stand the rain on the perfect day? I know that I can count on you, but if that's not possible, tell me, can you weather the storm? That's gone. Now we're talking about what? Get a bucket and a mop for that. Folks, if we don't do better, all the problems that we see culturally will continue, and they will worsen. They will continue, if not worsen. That's why I call these things out. That's why I do what I do so prolifically. I believe that I have been called by God, the Most High. And it's not even because I think I'm some type of savior, but I've just been called to tell the damn truth. And that's all I know. I can't control what happens with that truth. And I leave that in the hands of the Most High. And all I do is do my job. Some people ask, how do you make so many videos, this, that, and third? There's no strategy behind it. My only strategy is to tell the damn truth and to put it out there. That's my job. That's the agreement that I got with the Most High, period. And this is the God honest truth. This imagery, this way that we're living and even moving, this 304 culture that has made its way into mainstream needs to be pushed to the outskirts. People love to use the excuse of, well, this is the oldest profession. Do you know what it was to be a streetwalker back in the day? It was to be an outsider. You were damn near a leper. You were an untouchable. You were on the outskirts of society. Okay, great. Let's say 1 out of every 10 was working in that profession. They were the ostracized, the outsider, and the one who was seen as primo, as the highest value, was the one who was chaste. I'm not saying, oh, you got to get into purity culture or whatever it may be, right? The trendy aspects of things. But there's a truth to be said about keeping yourself intact. There's a truth to be said about keeping yourself and not just giving yourself away. Where is the respect for you? If you want to attract the best quality man, the one thing you need to have, and the only thing you really need to have, is some self-respect, genuine self-respect. And if you have that, everything else will fall into line. I guarantee it. And you will be ducking and dodging demons by accident. You won't even need to do it consciously. They won't even be around you. They won't even flutter around you. Have some respect for yourself, and it will start to manifest itself on the outside as how you move, as what you put on, quite literally, when you no longer need to be validated by everybody outside of yourself, and you can actually be by yourself, with yourself, you will have a wonderful relationship. The reason why me and Bay got what we got is because we were good with ourselves beforehand. We did the work beforehand. And so when we got together, it's a party over here. Not a freaky ditty party. You understand me? A Holy Ghost party here, the Holy Ghost party don't stop. I appreciate you for tapping into this video. And if you would like to show some love to the channel, make sure to click the link below titled Buy Me a Coffee, or you can send a Cash App, or, just keep showing up. I'll keep showing up, you keep showing up, and it'll be a beautiful thing. Till the next time, peace.
I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon.